And then the other part of it too is you spoke to, knowing the viewer, and something I've had to do is really like get in their head. And it's easy to do if you're a therapist because you're with them all freaking day.
Yeah.
So, and you hear the stories, and you can even like script out what the next, like you're probably so good at treating your patients, whatever setting you're at, that you could see somebody in the waiting room and be like, oh, they probably went through this. That's like the typical grandma, that's the typical grandpa, and they probably had a knee replacement, and that's how I speak on the videos. And so as a result of that, we get people communicating with us saying, it felt like you knew me. It felt like you've been with me all these years. And so all this trust, this authenticity is developed, and it's easy then to move them along into what we have. And of course, we're going to help them throughout our videos and in our programs if they choose to purchase them.
So David Middaugh, David, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
We bumped into each other online. I've known about your YouTube channel for a while. And then I was like, oh my gosh, he's a real person. It's a real person. And then we bumped into each other at the AOMT conference a few weeks ago. And I was like, I need to hear this story simply because I'm terribly interested in. And I think what you do can educate so many of our colleagues and so many different people in healthcare, because I think what you're doing is such a simple thing. It's not easy. It's simple. It's like, well, you're simply sharing content via video, and it goes and reaches these people. That's super simple. It's not, doesn't mean it's easy. I'm not trying to say it's easy, but give people the superhero sort of backstory. Like, you're a physical therapist, and then like, what's the back of the baseball card look like for you?
Gosh. So are we going back to like,
wait. I forgot to ask. Key question. What are you drinking?
Oh yeah. Do I open it now?
You open it now.
Waiting, man. Shiner Holiday Cheer. Once a year, this is made straight out of Texas. I'm a Texas guy. And so I love having my Shiner Cheer every holiday season. Absolute best beer ever. You guys are unfortunate to not have this out in New York.
So I am going in the spirit of locality. Sloop Brewing is upstate New York. They make Juice Bomb, IPA. People know them for their Juice Bomb. But I bought like a variety pack from Sloop, and this is the Simcoe Bomb. So they just do a bunch of, I guess, bombs are their like thing. So
nice.
Cheers to you, David. Thanks for coming on the podcast. Cheers. There we go. Shout about good beer, by the way. When we had CSM in Texas, actually, I've been to a couple PT events in Texas, and being able to get the Shinerbach is always good. All right. So how far do you want to go back? If someone were to say, like, what's your story? How far would you go back?
Graduated PT school in 2011. You want to start there?
Yeah.
I finished at Texas State it was in San Marcos. Now it's in Round Rock outside of Austin. And went straight into working for a manual therapy-based clinic, and went straight into a residency fellowship program right after that. They all were fellows at that company that I was at. And so I kind of started in manual therapy right away. I was just inclined to do it. I did it in my rotations. I finished my residency and fellowship in 2015 or 16. Those years blur. I was having kids at that time. Then I lived in Austin, but I moved back to El Paso, my hometown, where I'm from originally. And the kids, family, it was just, we wanted to just all be together in El Paso. And I love El Paso, great town to be in. We're talking a second ago, sun like 364 days a year. It's always nice out here. So I'm a sun guy. I love being out in the warm areas. When I moved out here after having finished school and worked, the clinic that I was at first was moving into a cash-based model. They were experimenting with it out of insurance, and I was like sold on that idea. I was like, I get it. Especially being a manual-based therapist, I love to have that time, that one-on-one time with patients. And so I was convinced that when I came out here, if things didn't work out with working for somebody else, I'd just start my own company. So I did pretty quickly on, and my goal was to just treat one patient at a time. So I saw right away insurance isn't going to work for that. It's just not a sustainable model. So I started a cash practice and quickly found out that, I had such a big ego. I was like, I have fellowship and I know how to pop necks and backs and I can do this and that. And I'm the best therapist that, is in the town and all this and that, but nobody cares. Absolutely nobody cares. So I quickly figured out that I needed to learn how to market, and did everything that you probably could think of. I was doing, gym screenings, going to all the gyms. I was there at for their 5 a.m. class and their 8 p.m. class and everyone I could get in between, knocking on doctors' doors, telling them about my clinic. I was doing free workshops. I was networking locally with every business owner I could, everyone that wanted to network. So I was meeting all these people, joining networking groups, and it got old really fast, especially when there was, as I was having kids during this time. I have 4 kids. I had 2 at that time, and there was a couple times when I left before they woke up and got home after they'd gone to bed, and it just had to happen 2 times for me to be like, "That's it. I can't do this. This sucks. Absolutely sucks. I want to be a dad. I want to be part of my kids' lives." And so I started to look into digital stuff a lot more. I was already kind of doing it, but I'm not, truth be told, I'm not into social media, like personally. Like I never post by myself. Everybody's out there is like, you're always on social media, but not for me. I'm out there to help people. I don't post on my private channels at all. I'm just tagged on there. That's how I pop up. But so I started to post on YouTube, on Facebook, everywhere I could, physical therapy related stuff with the intent of trying to get clients to come into my clinic in person. And it started to slowly work. I started to figure out ads. I got some business coaching around this time. So was pushed into doing like Facebook ads, Google ads, YouTube ads. And it worked. All of it worked. Everything I mentioned that's how it's supposed to be. Like everything, you do a little bit of everything and you start growing the clinic. But it was more sustainable for me to stick with the online stuff because I didn't want to miss my kids.
Right.
So I could do that, in the gaps of my schedule rather than missing a whole afternoon waiting in the doctor's office or showing up at 5 a.m. to the gym. So that got me to post more on YouTube. And at first I didn't know what I was doing. I was just like, I keep bringing up this clamshell exercise to all my patients, and they keep asking me, how do I do it again? So I said, screw this. I'm just going to put it on video, slap it up on YouTube. Had no idea about, all the metadata that needs to be on there and all like the editing. I just raw off my phone. And then I had a link and I would just text that to patients or email it to patients. And it was very helpful for that reason. Fast forward to 2019, I finished my fellowship, had another kid in the process. I was growing on social media, just locally was my intent. Then we had just under 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. And I had a couple people tell me like, hey, you should monetize. And I was like, what for? Like, what? They're going to start showing ads on my videos. Well, I made some key hires along the way. Like I hired somebody to answer the phones, which was huge. Oh my gosh. Because I was missing phone calls because I was in treatment and then doing the phone tag thing later on, trying to book patients. And so getting somebody to answer the phones was a huge help. Then I hired a marketing person to help me with some video editing and posting and some of the ad stuff as well. And she was like, you need to monetize, like just do it already. And so she kind of did it for me. And then we started to pay more attention to YouTube. Going into 2020, early 2020, this is when she came on board. Then the pandemic hit, and then we just saw things taking off on the YouTube side.
Gosh, good timing.
Definitely, yeah. I already had the idea to do an online program, which is like the meat and potatoes of what we do right now. But when the schedule dipped down in March, late March, early April, we filmed 2 programs, the 28-day back program, 28-day knee program. And then our schedule picked up because of all the stuff we've been doing online. So we dipped down like 50% in patients, and then we went up past 100%. I was busting at the seams. We had to hire people. And then we were selling some programs online, taking off online a little bit, but I wasn't paying too much attention because I was busy in person. And then the second wave of COVID hit us in November of 2020, and things tanked again. I had to go through layoffs. But I was like, there's money coming in still. What the hell? We're selling some programs and we're getting a little money from YouTube as well. That's cool. It's covering, some of our basic expenses. This is great. So that's when I started to pay more attention to it and really invest into it. So all of 2021, I was just making YouTube videos, pushing people towards our programs, getting feedback from people, what they wanted, what they needed, answering emails, tons of emails from people all over the world. Then in 2022, I was like, all right, let's make another program. Let's get more strategic with this. And I started making condition-specific programs. So I released the knee arthritis recovery program. That one hit nice. And we did all the YouTube videos associated to market that and educate people about it. And then we started adding more programs. And so now it's 2024 and we have 9, maybe 10 programs that we offer. And we're just making them better and stronger and have plans to roll out more programs here in the future.
So I don't want to get too far ahead because what you do and what you know how to do now was foreign to you in the beginning, and now it's not. So I want to make sure that, the slowest person in the room doesn't get lost here. So the funny part about YouTube specifically is it's like killing a fly with a sledgehammer. It's like you were trying to get clients in El Paso to walk in your door. But the thing about putting it on YouTube is there's no walls. There's no geography, time and space. And so space doesn't matter and time doesn't matter, because what David did in April of 2020, if you check your stats right now, someone's probably watching that video right now as we record, which is wild in terms of a multiplication of your information. So you and I talking right now live is great. 1 minute of time equals 1 minute of value, right? Exchange. But we're recording it, audio and video, and now it's a compound interest. Now, when people, yes, monetization, we can get into like CPMs, and that's in the weeds, right? But you did the extra step, which is if someone trips across a video in November of 2024, and they're like, I like his vibe. I like it. He explains things like how do I work with this guy? He's in El Paso. Well, crap. I'm in New York. What do I do? Oh, by the way, we have this thing, right? If you like my videos here, I walk you through it from day 1 to day 28, and it's your knee. So I want to make sure people understand that, yes, it's this big program and you can get lost in the world of YouTube, but you can bring it back to David in a different way. I was yelling about this for 6 years, right? Big PTs need to communicate, right? Well, you took that and you went 1,000 miles beyond what I've done. I mean, again, I avoided YouTube because I was a radio guy. Like, video is my kryptonite, right? And I got used to it fast. I mean, I still don't love it, but I deal with it. But were you like you said you don't post a lot on your own social channels. Were you a video guy? Were you, hey, look at me? No, I don't. That's not the vibe I get from you, which maybe that helps you. Listen, if you're running a PT practice and you're still using old school systems, you're leaving time and you're leaving money on the table. Empower EMR is here to change that. It's an all-in-one, automated and built to streamline your scheduling, billing, and everything else so you can focus on what you do best, helping patients. Don't overthink it. Go to empoweremr.com. That's empoweremr.com. Book a demo and stop letting outdated tech hold you back. All right, PTs, if you're serious about crushing the OCS exam or leveling up your clinical game, Current Concepts of Orthopedic Physical Therapy, 5th edition, is where it's at. This is your one-stop shop for the latest in ortho PT, with expert insights on every joint, real-world case scenarios, and evidence-backed techniques. Don't sleep on this. Go to orthopt.org right now and get a sneak peek and start prepping like a pro. That's orthopt.org. One more time, orthopt.org. Go there.
Yeah.
Because it's real.
I don't care what people think of me. Like, that's a big hang up for people. Like, people ask me all the time, like, how'd you do this? How can I do it? And then I follow up with them and I'm like, have you posted yet? No, I'm scared. I have a zit. I was waiting to lose weight. I didn't have the right count. Like, there's always excuses, and you just got to go.
I have a challenge that I have not paid the $100 yet. So I'll do my podcast live at PT schools. And then we go out to, I know this is going to shock you. We go out for drinks afterwards and we continue the conversation there. Right. And that's when a lot of side conversations happen. And I get this pretty often. A student or maybe a practicing clinician will say, I've had the idea for a podcast for a long time now. I know the name. It's me and my friend. And I go, and I pull out $100 bill and I go, this will be yours. I will help you. I will show you how to set it up for free. If you, in the next 7 days, call me to set this conversation up, I'll send you the $100.
Oh my gosh.
And they don't do it. And I think it's because it's humility, maybe. Like they can't let go. So how do you help people just get, maybe not over it, but past it? You got to get past it.
Yeah. I think about the selfishness in that. I think about it.
Interesting.
You went through so much school to learn to be a therapist. You went through postdoctoral, postmaster, post-grad school education, likely because you've been doing continuing education and all that stuff. You know a lot of stuff about something.
Yeah.
And how selfish of you to hold back to just giving it to one person at a time. I mean, it's cool. Maybe that was your dream and all that stuff, but we're living in a world now where you can reach the entire world virtually by just posting up a 1-minute video about how you help back pain or how you help lymphedema or a women's health issue. Like, so many different ways to do this. And it's selfish of you to not post that, because whoever needs the help doesn't care if you need to, they're not even thinking about the weight that you're thinking about that you need to shave off, or that you don't have the right outfit on, or that you have a new zit on your nose or whatever. They don't care. They just want the help.
They don't care. Like, they're not looking. You're going to be your own worst critic. I tell people, like, the advice I give them, I say, what I try to do is take the bullets out of their gun. So I lean in real close and I go, your first 10 episodes are going to be terrible. And they're like, what? And then I go, hang on. They're only going to be terrible compared to your next 10 episodes. And here's the thing. No one's going to, you're the only person, you're going to be your worst critic. And if it's truly terrible, no one heard it anyway. But it was a practice. It's a rep. And even back in my radio days, if people wanted to get better, some people will go into a production studio and sort of pretend that they're on air. And I'm like, you got to go on air. You got to feel the adrenaline. You got to fail in real life. Because failing in a safe production studio that no one hears, I don't know. It's okay, but it's not real reps. So you got to film and publish and film and publish. And that's how you get better. So was there a moment? All right, let me ask you this. What was the biggest accelerator in terms of your improvement in not only how you felt about the content, but the reach? Was it hiring someone? Because now that you could share the burden, and you don't want to learn how to edit. You want to be David, who knows the stuff, and you need to be in front of the camera. Like, what are some of the things that really help?
I needed to eat.
So you're motivated.
Like, I need to make some money.
And
because I started a company, and we were doing okay. Not phenomenal, especially for being a cash practice, not doing the insurance thing. It's not as glamorous as people make it seem. Like, insurance-based practices can definitely make some good money. It's just a business model that you want to have and whatever you're slanted to. But for me, I was like, I need this to work. I don't want to go back to what I was at before. I want this to be for me. So
you burn the
that
boats.
was the biggest accelerator for me. And then the thought that I know I have skills that can help people, so I need to put them out there in some format. And then as you started to take traction on YouTube, and we get a little bit of money from YouTube. Everybody thinks too that once you're a YouTuber, once you're monetized or you have a plaque or whatever, that you're just rolling in dough. But it's this much money, not this much money. And so there's other ways to monetize. So that's what we had to explore is what other ways can we get money while still helping people, providing value, so that we can make a living out of this.
Right. Yeah. It's an attention economy. Let me say it like this. Let me see if you agree. So when someone asks me, how do I start a podcast? Usually the first question is, what kind of microphone do I get? And I go, it doesn't sort of matters, but not really. Spend $45. Like, most of the time, anything you get is gonna be fine. 3 or 4 questions later is like, how do I monetize this? And I was like, okay. So here's the shift I usually mention to people. And you tell me if it's the same on YouTube. Because I think the way you've done it seems similar. I'm like, you need to understand that your product is not your podcast. Your product is the audience of your podcast. And then for me, like people know, I have sponsors of the podcast. That's like Johnny Owens, another Texas guy, Owens Recovery Science, blood flow restriction. He's like, I know enough people listen to your podcast that whatever I pay you to be a sponsor, I'm going to get 2 people a month to come to my course. So I need people to shift. It's like, dude, Apple's not paying me. Spotify really doesn't pay me. That's not where the money is. Where you can monetize it is if David's like, I got 600,000 subscribers. I built a course, or you can do a Zoom one-on-one with me, or what are the different ways you can close that loop with the audience, because your audience is actually the thing.
100%. I agree with you. I have seen people do it with under 1,000 subscribers, with a few hundred subscribers. They'll get a client and they're doing one-on-one Zoom calls to help them with some rare condition that you actually are good at helping people with. And they just don't have access to that because they're in some rural area and they're willing to pay you top dollar to do that.
I've told people before, because someone has said, well, how many downloads, or maybe the same question is, how many subscribers do I need? Even to create a course to monetize that way. Like, I'm not going to be monetized on the platform. And I say, 1. Well, what do you mean? I'm like, okay, let's say you start a podcast about brain surgery, but there's only 10 surgeons in the world who can do this surgery, and you have all 10 of them listening every month. So you get 10 downloads a month, right? But you have all 10 of the world's best surgeons. And then there's some company in Switzerland who makes a robot for $1 million and it improves the outcomes. They will pay you to get access to those 10 people. And that's the shift I want people to see, which is there. In radio, we used to call it the beauty pageant metric, which was how many people listen. Yeah. But in radio, especially in like corporate radio, was like we had a rock station, a pop station, a country station, and an adult contemporary station in like every market. So it was like, I didn't care about everybody. I was the rock station guy. I needed guys 25 to 54 to love me. If I got some females, cool. But I sold to Coors Light and Ford, and I knew who my sponsor, I knew who my targets were. So I needed a psychographic, not a demographic. So I needed to understand, dudes, hey, the demographic's nice, 18 to 54, whatever, males, 25 to 54. I needed a psychographic, right? Yeah. So that's the thing about YouTube, which is even took me a while to shift. It's like, it's a search engine, bro.
Right.
You are the answer. So think like when you said that the arthritis course blew up, how'd you pick that one? Did you think, what are people's, like, walk me through that process. How'd you know to do that one?
I got on the back end of the analytics, the dashboard, went through it. I saw most people that were watching our videos were in their 60s and up. Saw the video, the views on our videos where I mentioned arthritis, those videos took off. It's just feedback. Then the emails that we're getting, the communication, people call our clinic from all over the world, and they're asking for help. And then they say, I have arthritis. Can you help me with? I have knee arthritis. Can you help me with? And then there was a few, I have a meniscus tear. Can you help me with? So we just started to pick out which conditions did we get the most inquiries about, the most comments about. Look at the comments on the videos as well. And we just started there. Just follow the data.
You didn't need to do all of them at once, though, right? You did them one at a time. Like, you made it digestible for you, because you wanted to do it well. You wanted to go an inch wide but a mile deep on this course.
Yeah, especially because my revenue was coming from treating patients largely at the beginning, all of it at the beginning, and then we had a little bit of revenue from online sources, and so little by little we started to shift it where it's more online and then less from inpatient.
Ballpark percentage wise, what are you now? Is it 80-20, 70-30?
85% online, 15% in person.
It's wild, man.
Yeah.
If you told you that 10 years ago,
no way. I was having this conversation with somebody here in the office, and I was like, I wanted to be a therapist, and I thought I'd be a clinic director one day.
But you are.
Yeah, I mean, I am, but I never thought in this capacity. I thought in the traditional sense of maybe I'd be in the department of a hospital or a big giant practice, a corporate practice. But my own thing, I didn't think it would go that way. So it's really cool, and it's just opened so many opportunities, so many doors, and it's made life so much easier than what it was before.
Yeah. So there's a couple things that I want to unpack there. Number one, people do pay for your videos on YouTube. They pay with their time, which is ironically. Like, we covet that, right? Like, you can tell when someone's at a bar and they're in a conversation they want to get out of. They're sort of like looking, you're like, I want to get that guy, because it's your time. So the fact that your videos are free to anybody, but we vote with our time. Like, that's where we're like, I was doing the math the other day on, been doing my podcast for 9 years. How many, you can measure downloads. I know my average length of episode. And I was like, how long have people been listening to it? Like, how many minutes of listenerness have we had? And it was almost 300 years.
Wow.
Because you multiply, most of my episodes are like 30, 45 minutes, right? I try to keep them decent like that because I have a short attention span. And I was like, all right, 5 point something million downloads times 30 minutes. And then ChatGPT was like 296 years. And I was like, that's disturbing. Because I'm like, why? But I know what my value is. My value is, I'm never the expert. I stand there next to David. I get to look smart because I ask the questions and I hopefully shut up long enough to let David answer. You're straight just educating, right? You're like, I see you. I understand what your problem. If you're here, if you search this on YouTube and you push play, I understand what you are. And that is when you find the right information and the right guidance at the right time when you're looking for it is insane. But David doesn't have to be gone before the kids wake up and back after because he filmed something 6 months ago that someone is now consuming. And that I want people to wrap their heads around.
Yeah. Yeah. I was big on evergreen. Like at the beginning, it was big on do some trending thing. Like for a while, my team was like, do the Wednesday dance because I was trending at the time. And I was like, it's not really educational. I mean, everybody else is doing it. I don't want to do what everybody else is doing. And I'd rather make a video that is going to be seen over and over and over again indefinitely. And knee arthritis is just a growing problem. There's more aging people hitting that demographic that has it. So
here's a question for you. Do you want to boost your clinic revenue by $290 per patient per quarter? Of course you do. That's rhetorical. Physiotech's remote therapeutic monitoring can help you do that, enhance patient outcomes, ease provider workload, and turbocharge your earnings. Kickstart with RTM at physiotech.ca. That's physiotech.ca. And the thing you interact with the most at your clinic, if you're a therapist, like it or not, is your EMR. MW Therapy's all-in-one outpatient PT EMR gives you seamless integration of patient portals, marketing automations, and billing, all at one unbelievable value. Switching over is a breeze too. Kick the tires, take a test drive at mwtherapy.com. And where is your PT career going? It's not rhetorical, it's literal. Embark on extraordinary patient care adventures with Jackson Therapy Partners. Visit them at jacksontherapy.com. This is perfect for physical therapists eager to make their mark, to do what you want to do, where you want to do it. Discover where your career can take you at jacksontherapy.com.
So let's
you highlight something very valuable, and I want to make sure people understand it. I want to make sure I understand it, which is you could do the trending TikTok dance because you have an audience and you're going to see a spike in views.
Mm-hmm.
But where the value come in is like, are those the right people to be paying attention to my channel? Because actually, correct me if I'm wrong, if the wrong people are subscribing to your channel, let's say you're just like, subscribe to win a what, I'm giving away a digital camera or I'm giving away a whatever. And those people subscribe but don't watch, that's not, there's no value there. It's a beauty pageant metric.
It hurts you. It hurts you in the long run. Yeah.
Because now YouTube is looking and they're like, well, he's got a bunch of people that don't care. Because as much as these algorithms, people complain about them, YouTube's job is YouTube. They want people coming, getting value to spend time. And I say these phrases very slowly because I want PT, because this was my world in media. Spend time, pay attention. Look at those words, spend and pay, attention and time. Those are transactional phrases. You're giving your attention, your time. Like, I don't care how rich you are, you only have 24 hours in a day. So that is incredibly valuable.
Yep. I've had to learn to be concise, to say the right words, over time reducing the ums and stutters and all that stuff. I've thought about that on my end. Like that's part of the training that I've had to go through to speak more clearly, speak more effectively so that I can deliver the message. But if you look back at my first videos, I wasn't very good at that. A lot of cuts from the editing where I was cutting all that stuff out. But even then, like honing in my knowledge, using common words, colloquial terms, layman's terms, instead of, sternocleidomastoid, I'm saying this muscle right here.
Correct.
Whatever it is, like you have to go that way. And then the other part of it too is you spoke to, knowing the viewer, and something I've had to do is really like get in their head. And it's easy to do if you're a therapist because you're with them all freaking day.
Yeah. So,
and you hear the stories, and you can even like script out what the next, like you're probably so good at treating your patients, whatever setting you're at, that you could see somebody in the waiting room and be like, oh, they probably went through this. That's like the typical grandma. That's a typical grandpa. And they probably had a knee replacement. That's how I speak on the videos. And so as a result of that, we get people communicating with us saying, it felt like you knew me. It felt like you've been with me all these years. And so all this trust, this authenticity is developed, and it's easy then to move them along into what we have. And of course, we're going to help them throughout our videos and in our programs if they choose to purchase them.
Sternocleidomastoid does this muscle here, or the neck muscle right on the side does this. It brings the audience closer. Like I remember like being in my clinicals, and man, I felt like a baby deer, like just all knees and elbows, like with my words, because the environment was new to me. right? Being in a clinic and having to talk to patients, also with a CI over your shoulder, man, that is nerve-wracking. Put me alone with a patient without a CI, I'll just figure it out, man. But I kind of felt like I was constantly performing for the CI. When the CI was gone, I was like, okay, real talk. This is how I'm going to talk to you. But that is incredibly important. I used to have this drill. So in radio, you wear big fancy headphones, right? And there's a reason for that. It's to make sure like the sound is good. I won't go into the reasons. The problem is at radio stations, we have processing. So there's like some amps and bass, and the engineers make, when I'm talking to this microphone, they kind of juice. It's like steroids for your voice. It juices my voice 5 to 10%, right? You can hear that in your ear. So the problem was I would turn, a 25-year-old dude into the next radio broadcaster. He's my new hire. He's my part-timer. And when you put those headphones on and you hear yourself in through the processing on this big radio station, as you're introducing like Guns N' Roses, you start to buy your own. You can hear you're like, I am cool. And look, hey, welcome to the jungle. You're like, yeah. So the problem was when people hear that, they don't know you, but they can detect the inauthenticity. They know it's not you. They don't know what it is, but I don't know what it is, but I don't like that. And I don't like it. And I want to go away. I don't like that. This feels icky and I bail. So here's what I did. I used to call it the one ear, the one headphone trick. Yeah. So instead of wearing the big radio headphones that you had to wear, right, for reasons, I would always have them kick one headphone off. So one ear was always exposed. And I'm like, if you hear yourself in the room without the headphone talking like not like you, stop it immediately. Like, stop it. Just be you, which is ironically when you turn a camera on or put a microphone on someone, kind of isn't. It's unnatural. Like, this is unnatural what we're doing right now. Like, you and I have just had enough reps that it's easier. It's still weird, right? It's still odd. And I think I feel like the only thing that solves that is reps.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the only
like right now, I'm not looking at, I can see your face on the screen, but I'm not looking at it. I'm looking at the camera right there.
Oh, you've got one of those set up. My camera's up here.
Yeah, no, I'm just used to it now. I look at the camera lens.
Wow.
Everywhere anytime I'm on video, I'm default there, and I've split my brain to kind of pay attention to your body language and all that stuff so I can still interact with you.
Wow.
But if I look at you, it looks like this.
Right.
I'm not looking at the camera anymore.
Let me ask you this. Okay. So whatever the topic is of your next video, we don't have to go too granular, but like, what do you do? Okay, I've got the topic. I went to the back end of YouTube. I find out that here's the next thing that I think we should go deep on. This is going to be a video. What's the process? Like, how do you go from, it's like Schoolhouse Rock. This is how a bill becomes a bill. This is how a video becomes a video. It's like, first is the idea. And then like, what are the big milestones to get you to finished product? Like what's the process work like for you?
Yeah. Well, you mean today or back when I was by myself? Because I have a team now helping me out.
Well, do it now and then let's do it now. And then I want to find out how you did it in the hardcore days.
Okay. So today I have a video person helping me out in the room because I have a fancy camera that I don't know how to work.
Right. Yeah.
They know how to do it. They have the lights set up. They have the knowledge on how to make the set look nice and make sure that there's no shadows behind me and all that fancy stuff. So my part right now is just make the content. Come up with the bullet points, the talking points, and try to deliver it as smoothly as possible. My content's also evolved from back in the day. Nowadays, it's more because I've built up an audience. Like, this is important because if you're watching this right now, thinking about starting a YouTube channel, and you go watch my videos that are released now, like at this time, we're about to hit 700,000 subscribers. It's a different feel. It's a different delivery of content. I'm like in your face more. It's more like direct, kind of like dad talking to, the teenager kind of situation. But back before, it was more just answering questions. Like, what's the best knee brace for knee arthritis? I say knee arthritis because that's what we're most known for, but we do the whole body. But what's the best insole for knee arthritis? How do you loosen up a stiff knee when you first wake up in the morning? Like, it was just, here's the question. And then here's my answer. And maybe I give you like a list of 5 or a list of 10 or just a general explanation. But nowadays it's like one of the videos we released recently is the the brutally honest advice to help hip arthritis, something like that. And it's just me sitting, it's like a podcast almost. And it's just like, we're sitting in a fireside chat and I'm just like telling you like, hey, we had all these years, we've helped all these people. Here's the brutally honest advice that you probably don't want to hear, that your doctor's not going to tell you, that your PT may not have the time to tell you because they're busy in the clinic with other patients, but here's how it is. That's my content now. But if you're starting out, just answer questions.
Yeah.
Build the audience first. The questions you get in the clinic. I mean, they're asking you, what knee brace should you get? And don't worry about the lighting. Like back then I had my iPhone 6 and sometimes I'd forget to hit record and I'd do a whole 20-minute thing and then have to go back and like, oh man,
the worst.
Soon. And I had it on a little $20 tripod so that it was decently, I'm tall, I'm 6'2". So, anything like right now, this is a low for me. I'd rather it be like right here, but you can see my double chins. But again, who cares, right? It's not about me. It's about the audience. And I just make outline. I don't script it all word for word.
Really?
I just have
okay.
points, talking points. Some people do script it out word for word. Some people have teleprompters. I tried printing it out on a paper and putting it like right below my camera so that I can read. But then I was doing like reading it. It didn't feel good for me. I think the take home point is do what feels right.
Do what feels right all the time.
First 10, 20, 50 videos that suck because you're figuring it out, even 100 or more, and then you start to smooth it out. So if you see me today, I probably look like I know what I'm doing, but I'm still learning, I'm still growing, and I've got a bunch of reps, like you said.
The way we know, I mean, I've told this story not often, but enough. I did the morning announcements in 6th grade. I did it because I was that kid. I did it because I lost an election for like student government. We all had to like give a speech or whatever. And I gave a speech and I got crushed. I just there's some popular kid blew me out and I was like, whatever.
That was a consolation.
Kudos to Mrs. Ankru. She was like, you gave a really great speech. And I was like, okay, but I lost. So it wasn't a great speech. And she's like, I'm going to put you over in the central office. You're going to do the morning announcements. Now I was in 6th grade and it was in middle school, 6, 7, and 8. Why wouldn't you get an 8th grader to do it? Because they're like older and more mature. But she was like, no. Jimmy does the morning announcements. And I was like, okay, I don't know you, lady, whatever. And then I was left in a little room, a little booth. And then just secretaries would walk in and be like, I don't know. These are just handwritten 3x5 cards. Read this, whatever. And I just read them verbatim the first week.
This is natural. And
no one gave me notes. No one said, bad job, good job. I'm in the room. I'm 11 years old. I'm looking around going, what if I start to like ham this one up a little bit? So then I did. I'm looking out the window of the door and like, there's the principal right there. And I'm like, everyone can hear me. No one's making a move. Nice. But then like the 3rd week, I'm there like a half hour early. And I'm like, all right, we're going to do this one like a sports cast. And the girl that was in the room with me was like, no, we just need to read. I'm like, shh, no one's yelled at us yet. Like there's a parallel is like, you might be looking for permission to start a YouTube channel or a podcast. Number one, you're never going to get it. Number two, you never needed it anyway. Like you're looking for permission for this, for your own emotion, right?
Yep.
So then I just started hamming up the morning announcements and people would make a comment. Hey, that was funny. And I was like, yep, that's what I needed. Like that was the version of a comment in 6th grade in 1991 was somebody in the hallway going, hey, that was funny how you made fun of the basketball coach about tryouts. I was like, yep. Just threw a little zinger in there. First day of 7th grade, I just walked back into the room. I was like, hey, I'm here again. Don't worry about it. Don't need to fill up. I did that through 12th grade, went to school. Wow. Picked the school based on it had a college radio station, did my first radio show, did my first mic break, walked and played the song afterwards, walked into the bathroom, vomited.
Oh, man.
Because for some reason, I was like, it took me 6 years to get here. And again, it was 1:00 in the morning on a Wednesday that no one was listening anyway, but I cared that much. So I would say to you, I cared that much about the output that I was willing to go through the vomiting and the whatever, the nausea of the input. I know that holding a phone and talking into it is intimidating. I'm with you, and I've been doing it for 20 something years. You've been doing it for a long time and have had success. It's still intimidating. Do it anyway. Like you said, you started this off by saying it's selfish to hold that. And I agree. I've never heard or said that before. It is. You're hiding, you're locking the gift away.
Yep. It's so selfish. It
So
absolutely.
what would advice be like? Let's break this down. I want you to talk like a dad, like you do now, to the audience, but change your audience from patients or people who are looking for your physical therapy advice to the audience as physical therapists who are like, I know I need to. I've heard Jimmy talking about. What would you say to that person? Or what's like the 1 or 2 things you're like, in the next 30 days, you need to do 1 and 2. What is it?
1 and 2. Let's see. All right. I would say number 1 is quit overthinking.
I like it.
Which platform you need to start on. Just because I'm on YouTube, if you're trying to follow my steps, doesn't mean that's going to work out for you. Instagram's fantastic. TikTok's taken off. Facebook is a hidden gem. Everybody that's young ignores Facebook, but it's pretty big. It's pretty darn big. Just pick whichever one you're comfortable using, and then don't get caught in the weeds over, should I use photos? Should I use video? Should we do vertical video or should we do the horizontal video? Just start. Don't focus on any of that stuff. What you should focus on is delivering a quality message. Script it a little bit. Make some outline, like a few points, and something that you're comfortable talking about. That's important. You have to be comfortable talking about it. Don't talk about stuff that you don't know about. It's just not going to be authentic. People are going to sniff that BS out quick. But if you are talking about knee arthritis all day, like something that I do, or disc herniations or lymphedema or some pediatric condition or neurological condition, whatever it is, that's what they need to hear, because that's what you're an expert in. And just talk about that. Just focus on one thing and you will see success. And then be patient. It's going to take you 12 to 5 dozen videos. It'll take a while. Just start. Don't get hung up in the equipment either.
Don't
spend $50 on a tripod and a light. And that's probably all you need. Everybody has a phone. A phone works great. I got to 100,000 subscribers on a phone.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That's cool. I love stuff like that.
On the upgraded. Actually, no. We hired the first videographer when I was at 300, because then we're doing a video where I said we were at 350,000 subscribers, and that was the first time. I bought the camera, tried a couple of videos out myself, and realized this camera has so many settings and so many different. I need to hire somebody. I was blown away by how complicated it was, and then it made the world of a difference hiring somebody. But it was the next level at that point. I felt like I could have kept going with my phone just fine.
I say this, and there's different levels of this, but the funny part is PTs fall into this trap, and the trap is, let's say you're at a backyard barbecue, and someone says to you, "Hey, listen, I hurt my back," and you're like, "Hey, I'm a physical therapist. Like, you should come see me." And the person's like, "Nah, I'm just gonna let it, rice. I heard rice somewhere, or I'm just gonna suck it up, or I read this blog article where whatever." And we're like, "Oh man, if you came to me, I'd get you better faster and you'd feel better." And the reverse is true for someone like, "Hey, if you hire a marketing person, like, I'm sure you could do it yourself." But there's this other thing. If you put someone else on your team, full-time, part-time, freelance, doesn't matter. You get their expertise. Like, you get to know what they know the minute you put them on your team.
Adding these people to my team has been invaluable. I mean, color grading and the softwares that they're using. Like, I was using iMovie on my MacBook, my white MacBook back in the day.
Old school MacBook,
old school stuff. And I upgraded to the Air when they came out. Anyways, like they're doing it way more complicated. They love doing that stuff, and I'm kind of into it too. But I'm like, I gotta focus on the content. That's my job.
This is what I'll tell people. Number one, what you just said in terms of like just push record. Yep. That's like building cars. Figure out what kind of cars you like to build, what kind of videos you like to shoot. Maybe you like to shoot whatever your flavor is. Figure that out. Find your voice. Right, is the fancy way of saying it. Mm-hmm. Then figure out a process, which is like, okay, I'm going to record something. It's going to be 5 minutes. And then I'm just going to put an intro on the front and the back. Good. That's your and then post. Do that. There's your process. Now you're a little bit like a NASCAR team, man. Like, you got the fuel guy and the jacket. Good. Understand what your process is, because at the level you're at, if you were to do every step, you'd put out 1 car a month or whatever. But because you've created an assembly line, David focuses on David things. Camera guy focuses on camera things. Editor woman focuses on now you get to do better stuff at scale. Now, I don't want to psych people out though. You're not hiring a team right now. You're not, right? Like,
no,
you don't have to. But
you got
find the
$50
process.
tripod light and a camera, and you go and you post it, and you just do it once a week, twice a week if you have time.
Create your own process. It doesn't. Yeah, I like that. All right. I have other stuff to talk to you about because I got some ideas, but let's wrap this up because I want to make sure we're concise. Last thing we do on the show is called the parting shot. That's just your last chance for a mic drop moment, soapbox statement, whatever. What would your parting shot be?
Oh man. Going back to your selfish thing, I think
that was a good one.
I can't harp on that enough. You went to school for years. You paid all that money and you are hiding it. You're covering that light up when you need to let it shine. And even if you don't think that you're great at explaining it, you will get good at explaining it. The benefit of having a presence on social media is tremendous because if you have a business, you absolutely should do it because you're already behind. You're trying to play catch up at this point with all the other clinics around you that are trying to get on social media too. But if you work for somebody, it's still beneficial because how much more valuable are you to the world? The people that are seeing your social media posts, but also your employer. And if you decide to change jobs and you come in with, I have 10,000 followers on Instagram or on YouTube or on TikTok or whatever, they're going to be like, if a PT came up to me right now and said, look at my following, can I work with you? I'd be like, it's going to be hard to say no to this person.
Right.
It's so much more beneficial, especially if it's, in relation to what we're doing. So you can't be hiding your expertise. You need to share it with the world.
Love that. See, I like that because it has everything to do with the ideas and nothing to do with the metrics, which is don't hide that information, share it. We're not in an economy anymore where you had to hide all your secrets and say the only way you get them is come here. It's like, I'll give most of it away or all of it away. You come and select to work with me because of what you said. When someone says, I feel like you get me. That's why a patient comes back to you. It's not your degree. It's not because you know what the the SCM is.
Sternocleidomastoid.
I've had a beer. It's because how they feel. It's the experience in which that you give them. That's the magic. I'm very sorry, but that's actually the magic.
Yeah, just be authentic. Authenticity is a new currency. That's what my mentor says, and I believe in it.
I like that. All right, David, appreciate that. We'll put all the information, but people can follow you in the show notes. But thanks for the time, man. This is, I learned selfishly. I do this podcast so I can learn stuff and hang out with smart people. So I just let people hang out.
Happy to be here. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.